Good morning. This is task 2.2C SIT 210. So, in this task, we were assigned to make a tutorial video for completing the task 2.1, and for task 2.1, we were given a task to blink the Arduino Nano 33 IoT using the Morse code, which is defined by the name entered by the user. So, firstly, before getting into the code, let's check what is the Morse code. So basically, Morse code is a representation of letters by an arrangement of dots, dashes and spaces. So it helps in transmitting text as a series of on and off tones. Morse code helps those with mobility or speech concerns communicate effectively. So there are some parts of Morse code. Dot, which represents 1 unit, dash, which represents 3 unit, space between letter 1 unit, and space between words 7 unit, space between parts of same letter 1 unit. So here dot represent a short signal or sound and dash represent longer sound or signal. So for example, if we consider an alphabet A, it is represented by dot and dash. Similarly, we can define same for a combination of letters. Taking the combination as Mayank, then for word Mayank, the Morse code shall be traversing through each letter in the Mayank. So M can be represented by double dash A dot dash Y dash dot dash dash A dot dash N dash dot K dash dot dash. So combining all, it will become dash dash dot dash dash dot dash dash dot dash dash dot dash dot dash. So this was about the Morse code. Now let's check what are the hardware required in the program. So for this task, we were required Arduino Nano, push button, micro USB cable, and a Wi-Fi enabled device, that is laptop or smartphone. So we connected the Arduino Nano with the micro USB cable, and we have used its two pins the for initializing the button. So that is pin number 2 and the ground pin, which are connected to the circuit of button. So now let's jump into the code. And so the code which is here, firstly we have defined some variables. uh, Basically, the button pin is set to pin number 2, indicating the pin connected to the button. The button state and the last button tracks button's current and previous state. The name blinking is a Boolean flag that determines whether the name should be blinking. Char index keeps the track of which character in the name is currently being blinked. Input name is an array to store input up to 100 characters, and input index is used to read input index. So now there is a setup part. So in setup part, the code initializes LED built-in or built-in LED of the Nano for as the output pin, and the button pin as the input pin, which is pin number 2, and with a pull-up resistor. So it also starts serial communication at baud rate of 9600 bits per second, and paints the paints a prompt message to the serial monitor, that is enter the name you want to blink in the Morse code. So now we have defined two functions, that are dot and dash, to represent the short signal and long signal. So a dot signal, which is represented by a built-in LED, where the LED blinks for 250 milliseconds, and then turn off. For dash, the time is longer, that is 1.5 seconds. At the delay of 1.5 seconds, the LED blinks for 1.5 seconds and then turn off for the 250 milliseconds, and this repeats until and unless the code goes on. So later on, we have defined a function named Morse code encryption. Basically, this function takes a character as an input and uses a switch case statement to determine its Morse code representation. It calls the dot and dash functions to blink LED accordingly. So it handles the letters A to Z and ignores unknown characters. So we have used the switch case, and in each case we have defined a particular character. For example, A, where it uses dot dash and then break. So it travels through the input string and provides us a valid output. So later on we have defined a void loop which reads uh, the state of button firstly, and if the button was just pressed and was previously timed high, so it toggles the name blinking flag to start or stop picking, blinking the name and reset character index to 0. If the name is true, it checks if there are more characters in the input name array to blink. If yes, it retrieves the next character, calls the Morse code encryption function to blink in the Morse code. Then wait for 1 second before moving to the next character. When all the characters are processed, it sets name blinking false to stop blinking the name. If the name blinking is false, it turns off the LED. So uh, by the this part of loop function reads the input character by character from the serial monitor. It checks if there are very available input and reads it. If the character received is a new line character, if the input index has reached its maximum size, it null terminates the input name string and resets the input index. If then prints a message to the serial monitor, sets the name blinking to true and starts blinking the input name. If not, it stores the character in input name buffer. Thank you.
Thank you.